You've just entered the Extra Zone Arcade. With the imminent release of Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition, let's take a look back at some of the mods the original release has gotten over the past 4 years. I've got a variety of 10 mods here, from gameplay improvements to character swaps, level packs, and some strange ones. Make sure to watch all the way through to see them all, and hit like and subscribe if you want to see more mod showcases like this and any other content I make. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we are in the game of Frontiers. Of course, you know what it is. We're just gonna get into this. We're just gonna show some of the first mods we've got here. So first of all, I want to say that I have Tracker's physics mod on, and that one basically stays on, where you know, it improves the base physics of the game, adds more momentum, a lot more air drag, just generally gives Sonic better, more kind of adventure-like controls. Okay, so here we have the Snowy Aranos mod, which basically takes Aranos Island and, you know, well, covers it in snow, as you can clearly see. I think this one's definitely a great one to have because it really varies up the visuals of the game. As we all know, Kronos, Rhea, and Aranos Island were all supposed to be one, so what ended up happening is when they got split, we basically got 3 islands that were just, you know, green, grassy hills. But now, with this mod, at least one of those islands can have, you know, a bit of its own identity, and, you know, I think it looks pretty dang nice. I think one thing that I would maybe add, probably just to have some more of like a bluish hue, especially on like the hills here, you know, just to really like give that icy vibe. But for right now, I think this is a great way to really vary up the visuals in a game that could certainly use a bit more variety. And also, here's a good spot to showcase Tracker's physics mod. So as you can see, I'm gaining a lot more speed by going downhill, and it is just very satisfying to actually see this. This is definitely something that was missing from Frontiers. Also, you know, with things like boosting and jumping, you can see much more of my momentum is being carried, even compared to some of the momentum sliders that were added in the update. So yeah, I think generally speaking, whoa, an enemy encounter. Holy crap, we'd better do something about this. So here we have the next mod, which is actually a stage mod for cyberspace. So this one is actually Fallen Fleet, which seems to be based on the boss fight arena from Shadow Generations, where you fight Metal Overlord. Basically the crashed egg fleet from Sonic Heroes as a stage. So let's see how this is looking. All right, and we are in. I love so far. It has the same intro as the original level. That's really sick. That's really sick. Oh, even down to the skydiving. All right, we'll stick with the middle path for this run. And here we go, full on level mod and everything. And a lot of these mods are actually new to me, so we're gonna experience together exactly how to run through these and everything. It's gonna be pretty sick. It's gonna be pretty sick. All right, here we go. Hit up one of those. A nice one of these. Oh my god. Holy crap. That's another thing that the physics mod adds, actually, is that you can consecutive homing attacks a lot faster than in the base game. There's no weird delay like there used to be. But here we go. On to the next section. You already know what it is. We're pretty good. All right, simple. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh my god. Okay, wow, that pulley really does just take you past the platforms, and you've got to have some quick reactions there. But it's no problem for me, you know. I'm basically a god gamer, you know. All right, down the hatch. Here we go. Here we go. And onto this thing. I'm loving how faithful this seems to be to the original stage's design. I am oh my god, I'm recognizing a lot of these sections from the original game, and we are in fact dropping frames as well. So you know, I don't really remember that happening in Sonic Heroes. And whoa, that is just a massive shot of everything we can see right there. That is awesome. I love that. All right, here we go. My frames are no longer dropping, and I figured out how to platform, which is pretty sick. There we go. All right, we got another rocket going here, and oh, this is supposed to be the part where the cannons shoot at you. That's pretty sick. I love all the references here. They've done a great job translating it, even just using some of the cyberspace assets that were in the game originally. Okay, here we go. Now, we've reached a pretty difficult section. I've died quite a few times here. But listen, we can make it through. It's, ah, my god, Jesus, bro, please. I just want to have a chance, man. There we go. Okay, finally got that pole working after so long, but I think it's only because my game decided to stop stuttering on me. I swear this game hates whenever I have OBS open. It really does. Game runs perfectly when I'm not streaming, when I'm not recording. As soon as I hit that button, it just goes completely down the drain. So, you know, love that. All right, we have a pretty typical rail grinding section there. Okay, nothing too crazy, nothing too crazy. We have 6 minutes on the clock. It is not looking good for us in terms of the rank, but you know what, man? When is it ever? But there's the end. We did it. We managed to at least get through. So, you know what? I will take that W at least just this once, okay? Yeah, fat D rank. That's to be expected. All right, listen. Maybe we'll come back and we'll get a good rank on this. Like right now, I'm actually going straight for it. I'm going straight for it. And you know what? We're going to just cut to the part where I get the rank, actually. And there we have it, folks. The S rank has been achieved. I knew I could do it. It wasn't that hard, you know, after like 100 freaking attempts, but we did it. Let's go. Okay, so before we get into the next couple mods proper, I just wanted to shout out a couple of codes that I think are really worth using. So one of them is this. Allows you to switch characters on any island, but this is also the mod I'm using right here, where certain characters are replaced with other iconic Sonic characters. So there's that. And the other code I wanted to give a shout out to is basically one that allows you to play the Final Horizon cyberspace levels using the arcade mode. So, you know, you don't have to go in, do Final Horizon, and then enter the cyberspace levels to play those. You can just do them from the menu. So let's also talk about this mod. So yes, this lets you basically play as any Sonic character. It is called Playable Sonic Cast. And yeah, here's just some of the ones you could do. So there's Rouge over Amy. And, you know, I'm not really sure what's up with the pink hearts and everything, but you know, I guess it makes sense. But you know, it looks good. You know, it has custom animations, it has voice lines and everything. That's not all, you know, you can do it with multiple characters as well. We have Chaos over Knuckles, which if you play the Adventure 2 multiplayer should you know, pretty much look normal. And even in the case of Chaos here, we have some custom particles with his water, which is pretty freaking cool. Now he looks a bit like a glow stick here. The lighting's definitely a little bit strange on him, but you know, I'm guessing he would have been pretty hard to actually do. But yeah, you know, it's pretty cool just being able to run around these Frontiers worlds as some other characters. And of course we have the boy Silver the Hedgehog. You know, we couldn't not include him. And he's over Tails, and you know, you get to you get to just throw the 06 boxes, which is pretty awesome. I think that's I think that's so sick. But there we go. And also for his super boost mode, he basically goes Super Silver, which is pretty sick. I like that. That's a neat little detail there. Take this! Of course, you know, you can't not have that. And yeah, you know, all character abilities are intact, including Spin Dash. So, you know, you can finally have Silver do a Spin Dash, which I don't think has like ever happened. Bro, why does it sound like he's sneezing sometimes when he does a quick step? What is going on? And of course, you know, just to show off a couple more here, we of course have Infinite from Sonic Forces, looking looking like Infinite. I don't know what else to tell you. He's just him. And of course, you know, his attack is to throw out his Phantom Ruby cubes. It even has the freaking oh my god, hey, do you mind not interrupting me, please? I'm making a video over here. And for some reason, when you do Tails' boost, he becomes like Big Infinite. I don't really know why that happens. Although, to be honest, why does that even happen in the original game of Forces? I don't know. But yeah, and of course he has his custom voice lines as well, which is pretty sick. We love to see that. We also have Metal Sonic, who is over Knuckles, and oh my can I see that again? Can I see him do that again? Bro, what the hell? Bro, look at this. He turns into Overlord when you do the max ring boost. Look at this, bro. What the hell? That is so sick. And then, of course, you know, we have the classic Metal Sonic combo that we all love, you know, as he's always known to do. And then we also have Tangle as well for a bit of IDW rep. I don't know why she, like, has rocks. I don't know what this is a reference to. I don't remember Tangle's famous rock move from IDW. So if someone could maybe point to me the direction of the issue where she does that, I'd be more than happy to take a look. But, you know, yeah, just like a pretty cool little skin thing if you just want to mess around with some other characters in this game. All right, so for the next mod, I reckon the best way to take a look at it is to go into the Cyberspace Challenge. And the reason why is this. Take a look. So what we have here is actual unique themes for the cyberspace levels, which is pretty dope. So this one essentially gives some nice little skins, a nice little overhaul to each location in cyberspace. So in the case of this first Green Hill Zone here, we have basically kind of looks like the first level of Superstars, Bridge Island Zone, with the ground textures here. But then we have like this foggy background, which again really gives like this mysterious vibe to cyberspace that I think really goes a long way to make it unique in a way that it wasn't in the original game. And here's another one for you, Sky Sanctuary, looking kind of red, just a little bit, just a tad bit more red than it usually is. Also a lot laggier than it is. All right, here we go. We're back to a somewhat normal frame rate. But what I really love about this particular stage here is the big like black hole event horizon going on in the background there. That's pretty dope. You know, really gives a sense of urgency. Like, oh man, we gotta get out of here quickly before that thing just like swallows us whole. Pause. All right, and then next up we have the city theme. And I think for a lot of the zones where the themes are repeated, which, you know, is most of them, what they'll at least do is kind of like differentiate the color palette between them. So here we have this one looking a little bit more like greenish than usual. There's a bit of a green tint going on here. Again, even just something as simple as that can go a long way to, you know, really making each location actually feel like something a bit more unique and a bit less reused. Like for instance here, so you know, we have another Green Hill level, but we have a bit more of like a darker kind of lighting to it, which really gives it a almost jungly vibe, which I think does a good job of actually meshing with the music here, you know? So I'm sure that was definitely in the intention, you know, it's giving me a lot of white jungle, green forest vibes from Sonic Adventure 2. Now, this one I think has got to be my favorite. The chemical plant theme is so freaking cool. It's basically just this big old like vaporwave aesthetic. I think it looks pretty freaking sick, you know, more than just the regular chemical plant that we're so used to seeing. We've even got that little like sun graphic in the background, which I think goes a long way to just really vary up the colors here, just make it look super unique, super cool, and just really, really slick. Now, of course, this particular mod doesn't really change up the level designs at all, but you know, it's purely aesthetic. And again, I think Frontiers, the big thing that's really lacking with that game in its base form is the aesthetics. So, you know, it's nice to have a mod that really polishes that up, along with other ones like Snowy Uranus. So we have another Green Hill map here, and this one's definitely got more of a classic vibe than the previous ones that we just went through. You know, a little bit more typical of the base game. But even still, the lighting kind of feels like it has its own vibe here. You know, it still kind of has that ethereal kind of feel to it that I think they've been going for throughout this mod. And that's definitely something I have to appreciate about this, is just how it really feels like there's like an aesthetic through line between all of these, which is just to make it look as surreal and strange as possible, you know, because that's kind of what cyberspace is. You know, taking these familiar locations and remixing them, that kind of is the name of the game. And what I love about this one is we're in space. That's just really cool. I really love that. And once again, I think this is a theme that fits really well with the music for the level, you know, really complements the aesthetics with this kind of outer spacey kind of synthy feel to it, you know what I mean? But there we go. That's just some of the themes that you can get with the unique cyberspace aesthetics mod. So again, if you want more of that visual variety, which I think is really something that Frontiers could benefit from, definitely check this one out as well. This one's absolutely fire. All right, so the next mod I have to show off for you here is Combat DX. And what this does is it completely overhauls the combat of Sonic Frontiers, which I thought was a pretty fun aspect of the game, but could certainly use a little bit more depth. So, you know, here we have things like skill links and a more in-depth combo system, as well as some stronger enemies. So essentially, yeah, just really giving it that kind of DMC Bayonetta kind of style that I think the game was originally going to go for, and the kind of thing that I would like to see in the next game, which I did say in my recent video, which a lot of you guys did watch, on what I would like to see in the next 3D Sonic game. But here we go. Let's fight Ninja and see what's kind of changed. All right, here we go. So, also, I do believe the parry is a more instantaneous thing now. Oh my god, I couldn't even see. Hit one of the... Oh my god, okay, my timing was way off. Okay. See, they're already cooking me. They're already cooking me with this combat mod. All right, here we go. We have combos going. We have combos going. Now that's it. There we go. There we go. Critical strike up chance. We love to see that. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. So you can already see how it's going to get you to kind of think differently about how you're going to approach combat here. You know, you might want to go for those style points with this mod. So let's show off some more combat scenarios. All right, here we go. So we have a set of regular enemies, and I'm a maxed out Sonic, so taking them out is going to be fairly quick regardless. But you can kind of see how, you know, you might really get those nice little combos, and you even get the nice cinematic camera to add some flair. So again, really just does a lot to try and, you know, encourage you to really go all in with the combat, which I do like a lot. I might actually hop over to extreme mode where I don't have a maxed out Sonic and see how that looks. Oh god, the dogs are attacking. The dogs are attacking, bro. Oh shit. I do love actually having to time the parry. Really adds a lot of depth to the gameplay here. Oh, can we get one more? Can we get one more? Ah, we didn't one cycle him. Ah, here we go. So now I can do my little rematch and see if I'm actually capable of taking this thing on with harder difficulty. Let's see how this goes. All right, so right off the bat, we hit the counter. We got the meter locked at 62%. Don't know what that means, but what I like about this as well is the Phantom Rush staying up is actually dependent on how you can keep your combos going rather than it just being like a fixed meter that you build up. So I think that's actually really sick. All right, here we go. Round 2, because I'm not going to lie, I got bodied. But listen, we'll get it this time. We'll get it this time. I'm sure of it. Or maybe the game will lag. I don't know. That's also possible. There we go. Same combos as before. You know, we can make it work. We can make it work for sure, for sure. We'll hit one of these. Then we're going to hit a nice little side loop. Our combo rank is currently C. Just keep it going. Keep it going. And see, look, we have the cinematic camera to go for us too. You know, we're looking real nice right now. We're looking real nice right now. All right, hit one of these. Nice little cross slash. There we go. There we go. And finish it off with a stomp. Perfect. All right, let's see. What's the rank? What's the rank? How are we looking? All right, no rank, I guess. Well, let's just say we got an A rank on that one. Yeah, you know, nothing too crazy, but we got an A. That's not bad, right? Okay, so it looks like we have some regular enemies here to fight. So let's see how the combat might be different with these guys. All right, first of all, let's get that Psy loop off. And it seems like that's the best way to really get your combo started, is to kick it off with that Psy loop. Okay, right now we're looking at a nice solid D rank, which, you know, could definitely be improved for sure. No doubt, no doubt. Another one of these. Just keep those combos going. Just really keep those combos going. Okay, we're currently at a C rank. Not bad, but, you know, still could be better.
Try!
Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, my rank has gone down. Okay, so you really need to, like, keep the combos going if you want to actually be successful with this mod. I see. I clearly still have a lot to learn when it comes to this Sonic Frontiers Combat DX. I can't lie to you. So there we go. There's just a little showcase. You know, obviously, in the hands of a better player, it will look a lot more impressive and flashy. But yeah, that's just what I got for now. All right, so for this next mod, we're heading back to the menu because we have a new option here. As you can see, we have Island Rush, and what essentially this is you go between all the islands and do, I believe, the action chain challenges. We'll just start off with Kronos to keep things simple, you know. So here we go. Is that motherfucking Super Mario? Now what the hell is he doing here? Complete with custom animations and everything, you know, except for when he rolls into a ball. But there he is, man. Super Mario is officially added to Sonic Frontiers, and he's looking pretty great. He's looking pretty. Can Mario do a light speed dash? He can. We love to see it. Okay, so yeah, essentially we've got some platforming challenges here to do. So not exactly the action chain ones, I don't think, but rather something else. And also, I am very dead. Okay, here we go. Now all of this is timed, including when I die. So we've got to, oh my god, we've got to lock in. We've got to lock in. There we go. Okay, see, now that's how you get past that. Hit the little light speed dash, hit one of these, and there we go. All right, we just got to basically kill this guy. The D rank on phase 1. Let's try and do better for the next ones, huh? I have to remember though, as Super Mario, I do still have the ability to spin dash, so you know, let's not count that one out. And okay, so now it's seeming familiar. I think these are actually the Coco locations from update 2, so not exactly the action chain challenges, but still something that was added in update 2, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Okay, there we go. After getting my ass kicked for like 5 minutes straight on that one, we finally got to the top. Guys, I swear I'm good at Sonic Frontiers, okay? All right, now this one, I don't even remember. Why is there a thing here? Ring tower, collect rings and press switches to reveal the way up. Oh, it's this one. Okay, I remember this one. Now, this might take some time, so let's maybe fast forward a little bit to when I'm done, huh? All right, and there we go. After so freaking long, we actually cleared it. That took forever. Hopefully, this next one won't take nearly as long, right? Right? All right, there we go. We got past phase 5 pretty easily. No problem, right? Ooh, okay, wait, what is this? Now we got to climb the towers? Is that something we've got to do here? Okay, interesting. So again, I just love that for Mario's like fast run animation, he does the little Odyssey sprint. Big fan of that, big fan of that. In fact, the model itself is from Odyssey, it seems like. So there we go. There he goes. Look at him, just so full of joy and whimsy. Now that is Super Mario in a nutshell right there. All right, but for the most part, these seem to just be the regular tower climbs from the original game. So that includes the fact that you could just fall all the way down and ruin your whole life. You know, that's also there too. Love to see that some things never change. There we go. That's another one cleared right there. Also, just seeing Super Mario doing this big tower climb with this dramatic music in the background is it's kind of frying me a little bit. I can't lie. Alright, we're now on to our 4th tower, and I'm not gonna lie, I forgot how much fun these things really were. Definitely some of the best platforming challenges in the entire game. And there we go, that is yet another tower conquered, just like that. We're still on a D rank though, man. Oh my god. There's gotta be something we could do about this, man, seriously. You know what they say when it comes to Mario, wall kicks will work, and if you know, you know. One thing that would be nice to see get implemented into this mod right here at some point would be maybe giving Mario his iconic jump animation. Obviously, you know, custom animations are something that we see all over these Frontiers mods, so it would be nice if they could go the extra mile and add that, since there already are quite a few for this particular mod. Now, one thing I'm curious about is, since a lot of the platforming challenges here are from the DLC, I'm wondering if for Uranos Island's Rush, that there might actually be the some of the tower climbs that you have to do in Final Horizon. That'd be interesting. And there we go. I believe that is finally it. Are we done with the Rush? 25 minutes. All Ds. You get the 14.5 minutes? Is that even possible? My god. Well, I might try and go for that S rank as well as see the other islands. Oh my god, why am I back here when it comes to the streams? So guys, make sure to tune in for the streams. We do them Monday through Friday, 4 days a week, whatever they end up being. And we also do the streams on Twitch as well if you prefer to watch them over there. Okay, so for this next mod, in case you're wondering, how can I make Sonic the Hedgehog more cool than he is? Well, of course, the easy answer is to give him a skateboard. So that's what this mod does. Sonic the Hedgehog's Pro Skater. So now you can ride the skateboard from those cyberspace levels anywhere in the game. I believe, at least, you can do it in the other cyberspace levels. I'm just testing out in the open world because I feel like that is a little bit more fun to just kind of screw around with. But yeah, I don't think there's any like tricks or combo system or anything like that. Like you can double jump with it, which is pretty neat. And yeah, it's just kind of like a neat little island traversal thing. But this one does have its own physics system, so I decided to turn off the tracker physics for this one. Someone can let me know if maybe it works just fine with that one as well. But I decided, just so things don't bug out too much. Again, nothing too crazy, but just a neat little way to vary up your gameplay in case you played Sonic Frontiers as much as I have, which let me tell you, hundreds of hours across like every version of this game that I have. It really is just that serious. The addiction got crazy at one point. So let's just slide all the way down. Woo! Oh my god, the freaking speed you get with this. Holy crap. Oh my god. All right, there we go. Well, that's about what there is to show with this. Just a neat little thing that you can just do. And this is the power of mods. You can either get some nice little aesthetic things like we showed off before, some cool gameplay ones like combat, or just some weird, random, silly ones like this where you just have a skateboard. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go into the void now, and I'll see you in the next mod. And the last one I wanted to spotlight today is Sonic Frontiers Revisited, the Chronos demo. Of course, it just made sense to point out this one because, we're getting definitive editions. So I guess it's kind of cool to see, the fan version of what a definitive Sonic Frontiers would look like versus the official version of what that might look like. All right, so here we go in Revisited. And I'm not gonna lie, one of the things that always stood out to me about this mod, since I have actually played it through all the way, is just how visually, even in the open zones themselves, the game just looks super, super nice with this mod. The environments really pop with color a lot. Sonic looks really great with his model here. All custom and all looks really, really nice. Even as far as the squash and stretch goes on the jump ball, a lot of attention to detail with that, with the animations, and just kind of with everything really. Like it's just looking great. So along with the physics mods and some of the other adjustments, we also have a functional roll option. So you just press the slide button and basically it becomes a roll that you can use, and you can gain a ton of momentum, and it's really freaking sick. But not only that, the main thing that this game sets out to do is actually combine the islands into one like they were originally supposed to be. So we have essentially like the full Chronos here, but realized as its own island. Yeah, so already you can see this is normally where you'd enter the Giganto fight in the original game, and I think right here this little thing is actually where you go to enter the fight. But basically you can go past that, and now you're actually in like the Rhea Island section of the whole thing, and you can also see where the parts of Aranos are connected here as well. So yeah, just really sick to actually like explore these islands and experience them in the way that they were basically originally intended. But with kind of its own twist, with kind of its own flair that makes it its own thing. So you're not just getting a Frontiers basic experience here. You're really getting something that feels like its own thing, but still keeps the core of what keeps Frontiers fun in terms of the gameplay loop, in terms of the feel of the game and everything like that. And yeah, just running around, rolling around with just this big, vibrant world. It makes me wonder what Frontiers could have been like, if it just had that little bit of extra development. Would it have looked like this, or would it have been completely different? Who really knows? Who really knows? One addition I also really like here is how the stomp has almost become kind of a bounce, the way that it carries momentum. And they even went as far as to add some of the iconography from the trailers over there, just to really hammer home the theming of the game. But not only that, we also have some new cyberspace levels, which are also a lot harder than the base game. So let's check out one of them. And you'll notice that these cyberspace levels are looking awfully similar to some ones we just played. Well, that is because in this mod, they also included the unique cyberspace levels theme mod. So basically, you get a little bit of everything with this. You get almost like a combination of some of the mods we've already played, which I just think is amazing. So, right now, this is just looking like the typical 1-5, nothing too different. But then, you start to get a little bit further into the level. This would normally be around the end point of the stage. But nope, we're basically not even halfway through. There's a whole lot more to explore to this stage. So here we go. This is where things really get different. Also, yes, your ears are being blessed with a fully custom remix of the the music, which I really like. All right, here we go. There's that bounce coming in clutch with the momentum and everything. And hell, you can even actually roll in these stages if you like. Here we go. Check it out. Check it out. Doesn't that just feel so slick? Now, what's difficult about these levels isn't necessarily the levels themselves, but more getting the S ranks, you know. They really up the challenge there. You got to play perfectly, and I am certainly not about to get one. Let me just show you that. Yeah, in fact, it's just about the worst rank you could get. I mean, hey, we weren't too far off from a C rank at least, I guess, maybe. And you know what? Since I'm so generous, here's another cyberspace level before we end things off. And I just love the theming of this one. It's really cool. So this one's kind of supposed to be a spin on that one level from the Final Horizon where you just have moon gravity and you're like parkouring on these cars. But you know, this one essentially ups the moon gravity, and you know, we have some more kind of interesting level design going on here, as you can see. But yeah, you know, generally just a pretty unique, interesting cyberspace level, you know, the likes of which you don't really get to see too much of in the base game. And what I like about these too is that there's so many different paths. You can see how all these paths are converging here. There's a ton of ways to get around this, and like you can really just like pick and choose how you want to really navigate. And I think that is part of the appeal of what makes these Sonic games so fun. You know, it's just having so much choice, having so much freedom, and I think that's something they really understood here with the level design. And hell, they even have the alternative goal from the Final Horizon version. So let's try and go for that. And you know, we got like a big freaking leap off one of the cars, and that will be enough to get us in there. Let's freaking go. That's gonna basically just about do it for this gameplay. So I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing these mods, you know, and Frontiers Revisited is definitely still one of the best ways to experience the opening segment of the game. Pre-definitive edition, that is. So, what was your favorite out of all the mods today? For me, it's gotta be Revisited for just how much it adds to the game, despite only being a demo. Drop a comment and let me know yours, and remember to subscribe on the way down there. It's officially Sonic Anniversary Month, so expect some more unique videos from me. Until then, have a great one.